Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to ATM Spellbound. Since the last episode, it hasn't been a ton of time, but one thing that I have done is I've went through and got us prepared to knock out a couple quest tabs. It was basically just a lot of crafting. Because I have been working on, not this one, the storage tab. I actually managed to run out pretty much all of my gold. I'm going to throw some gold ore before we get started. I'm going to throw some into the system just to let it start kind of gnawing through that. But I also laid out what's going to be a foliate mining upgrade. So we're going to go ahead, boop, 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 speed that up. And this is going to complete the occultism tab for us. And then we're also going to take our compacting upgrade. We're going to upgrade this. And there's another one done. Of course, the storage tab, we used the drawer stuff that we wanted. It was like a little, like the flint upgrade, which we didn't really have a use for it. And like the glowing, the illumination ones. Quantify key, which I don't usually use. And then the barrels and the backpack upgrades, which I don't generally use. Plus, we had never gotten a netherite backpack, apparently. This one's just a gold. But honestly, it's plenty of storage. With the occultism tablet, like I don't even use my backpack that much. And we're going to go ahead and throw in a bunch of gold ore, get the crusher working, and that's going to make us about it's like 890 something. I think it'll be give us close to 5,000 gold, so I think that'll be good. Okay, so you can see all the modium and stuff is starting to make its way up to the top areas. Now if we take a look here, we have 1,800 unobtainium at this point. That's one thing. Getting 12 ores or getting 12 ingots per ore, super powerful. And looks like we're actually, we got a bunch in here at the moment. It should still be running. Are we just producing that much? I mean, the amounts just keep shooting up, so it's very, very possible. Yeah, I mean, this is kicking away. It's just, I guess we're producing a lot of it right now. It kind of comes and goes as to how lucky we get, but yeah, we're making a fair amount. There's 230 unobtainium, so that's another 500 right there. But anyways, today, okay, we're going to kind of expedite a little something. I originally wasn't gonna start killing dragons until we did the other character development episode and we finished up mods, and that was pretty much all that was left to do. But there's two reasons I'm going to expedite it. First up, after the last episode, I had I had a comment and some messages about Maho Tsukai being the only way to kill dragons. So I want to address that today, and I'm gonna show you guys my method for killing dragons. There's a few different ways you could do it. You could do it with the reliquary dagger, very, very powerful. That was brought up in the comments because if you keep adding enchantments to it, it becomes extremely powerful. And of course, the dragons in this pack are huge health sponges with thousands of HP. You know, Maho Tsukai, because it does big damage, over the top damage. Dragons are the only thing that could even like absorb that damage. You know, you could also just have epic dragon battle. You know, and just it take a while, but you got to kill a lot of dragons. So that's not really realistic for us. This is my method for killing dragons. And there's potentially some other methods kind of similar to mine, but this is the one that I'm going to be using for us to handle dragons. And we're going to take care of some dragons today. Now, one thing I do want to do before we set out, I want to get some soul shards. Ideally, I mean, I've got a bunch of stuff in here I need to sort through. These are for later. I'm just going to make a couple soul shards. And of course, we don't necessarily have to have soul shards for the dragons. I just want to be able to fight the dragons in a place where we're kind of free from interruptions. You know, we want to be able to fight our dragons in peace. And so we're going to be fighting our dragons in a very special arena, so to speak. You'll see. It'll make more sense soon enough once we get to actually fighting our dragons. And if you've been having issues with dragons, like within this pack, or this would also work on like ATM 6 as well. You know, if you're having issues with dragons on there, because I know they're buffed up in there as well. Of course, I don't think ATM 6 has occultism, if I recall, but there, there's other options. And like I said, you don't even necessarily have to have this, but we're just going to be using this method. Now, we do have an all-the-modium portal, but they're cheap enough. Yeah, they're super cheap. We're going to go ahead and just make another one. Because the one that we've got set up, it takes us to the mining dimension. We went there once just to mine, what was it, 10 or something really obscure like that. But what we're going to do today is we're going to be going to a place called the Other. And to reach this, we're going to have to set up this same portal. We're going to set it up in the Nether. And before we set out, let's just go ahead and get some more epic Oreos. I was debating on making some other foods, but epic Oreos, they're actually like one of the best foods you could possibly have for fighting dragons. Because they give you really nice healing-based buffs. Okay, so we are now in the Other. And we're going to be looking for dragons. Now, as far as tier and stuff, it doesn't actually matter what tier dragons that we come across. It's not going to matter to us at all. Let me do this. Now, realistically, we could probably stay underground for this. But we're going to go above ground just so you can see the Other. This is a totally kind of custom dimension where we have this kind of sort of alternate overworld dimension. And there's some additional structures. It's supposed to be like the Piglin overworld or the Piglin homeworld. But there's these right here. I think these are actually trapped. So we're going to remove that. And I mean, there's just some basic loot. We're not really here necessarily for the loot. But just wanted to show you that. Oh yeah, we're going to be getting a ton of junk today. Okay, but let's go see if we can find a dragon. Now, I'm not super familiar with this dimension. I don't know if dragons spawn above ground or if they're only below ground, like if we can only find like the high tier dragons. That I'm not entirely sure about. But basically all I really know is like from comments that these guys apparently have a lot of health. Like thousands of health. Basically necessitating really big damage. Now, we've done a lot of preparation and character development to basically make ourselves practically unkillable. We will be taking it a little bit farther to where we literally are unkillable in a later episode. But damage, we don't actually deal that much damage. We rely on reflect. So, oh wow. Vibranium spawns here. Not that we need it, but it does spawn here. Let's, this map really, it doesn't allow us to see through caves. But generally, if we just kind of mine along, we could maybe hear dragons. Let me actually check the quest book. There's some other tricks that we can use. I do think Abyss got updated now to where it's an option. Fire types are the most prominent. Ice dragons are below cold biomes. And lightning dragons are in mountainous depths. Okay, so maybe we should look for those a little bit more like those particular biomes. Because I know this mod, just from using the Nature's Compass, I know this mod adds a bunch of biomes. And honestly, it might be worth us grabbing our Nature's Compass at this point. And let's set it to source, and we can see all the modium biomes. And I'm assuming maybe mountains for lightning dragons. We'll go see if we can find a lightning dragon. I want to find one of each, basically. I know you need a lot of kills to actually make the forges, but it's not actually going to matter too much for us. And I'll show you why that is here in just a little bit. All I want right now is just one of each. That's why we've got our 3 soul gems. Like I said, tier doesn't matter to us whatsoever. Of course, it's going to be loading really, really slow. The file size for this world is it's gotten so big. For considering it's a single player world, like it's over 8 gigabytes now for the file, for the save. So when we have like the final world upload, it's going to be a big one. I think the last one was really big too, like the last patron one. But the next one is probably going to be the last one, you know, because we are getting fairly close to finishing up progression and finishing up the pack. Can we do subtitles for this? This is like the traditional way of finding dragons. The traditional trick. You can see at the bottom right we've got subtitles. And we're going to be listening for dragon roars. I see a dragon body though. So might as well go ahead and get ourselves some dragon bones and dragon skull. Stage 4 ice dragon. Okay, we're getting pretty close to our mountain biome. And there's also this grassy one. I don't know. See, these just kind of stick out, right? This is a mountain's edge. Let's go down. Naturally, honestly, I wasn't sure how rare they'd be. I figured they'd just be flying around the skies if we came here. Like, it would be like really, really dangerous, super biome or super dimension. But it seems like maybe, and we've been flying around for a moment, so either they're pretty rare or they're under the ground. This pick is so good. Now that we're out of the blue skies, like, this pick really gets to shine at this point. We're going to make it a little bit bigger, but for right now, I mean, this is fine because we're just digging out tunnels. Something trips. I like that one. Best subtitle ever. Okay, yeah, we didn't find anything. Yeah, we might just go a different route to get this. Because I think, because this the Y level for the ground is like 130-ish. It's probably going to be hard to hear dragons from the surface, I feel like. So I think the Ring of Spectral is still uncraftable, but we can do the Spectral Eye Amulet. That should be very doable for us. So let's just go ahead, activate this, and that way we can kind of see through walls at a pretty decent distance. And what we're going to do, let's head out. Let's see, where was our mountain that we found? Back over this way. Let's go back to the mountain. Let's just pop down. We might be too far to see it from the surface, but with our super pick, we can just kind of mine through. Okay, yeah, there's a dragon right there. Perfect. We want you. We want you. Oh, it's an ice dragon. Okay. So what we're going to do, let's grab our soul gem, or soul shard. We're going to pop down and click it. There we go. We got a captured ice dragon. Okay, so that's one out of the way. Unobtainium legs. Okay, I think we need that for a quest. We'll go ahead and take it. So these chests... Oh, look. Unobtainium nugget pile. Vibranium nugget pile. That's kind of nifty. Let's take a look inside of these. I might get some... well, I mean, I can make the armor. It's not really a big deal. Unobtainium helmet with a bunch of enchants. Let's see. Like, there's not really anything at this point we need, but... Unobtainium legs. We'll take all the nifty enchanted gear. Unobtainium boots. We just need the chest. And if we can find that, we will have an entire set of the armor. Nope, I don't think we're going to find that, but let's go ahead and turn this back on. I'm going to go ahead and mark this, though. I don't see myself needing the building blocks, but I don't know. Maybe something will come up and I want the ice. I actually love the ice. You know, we've done a build kind of based around that. So this was a mountain, but it must classify this as being cold. Do we want to just mine out, or do we want to just come over? Probably what we're going to do is just come out a ways from this. Because I was thinking maybe they would be in different biomes, but I don't... This is gravelly mountain. Well, maybe. Because there wouldn't be ice here because it's so hot, right? So I guess gravel is like the coldest biome. Oh, there's a chorus nest. Let's pop down here. We can kill ourselves. Or some Mirmac, sorry, not chorus. Thinking of Skyrim, of course. There we go. We're going to get ourselves a Mirmac's egg. Because we can. We've basically achieved the point of being a god. And now we get to just destroy things. let's go ahead then. Which I know finding the dragons is just part one. Of course, we're going to have to kill this dragon. I didn't happen to notice how much health it had, though. I should probably pay attention next time to get an idea of how much damage we're going to have to do to this thing, right? They do seem like they're going to be pretty rare. I figured, honestly, I was anticipating this dimension just being filled with the dragons. And, of course, we still have to finish up Mana and Artifice and stuff. We're going to be doing that. We're not totally forgetting about those mods, and we have some other like miscellaneous type mods to cover. But we're not going to be forgetting about them. We're just going to be prioritizing. There's a dragon. I see you, dragon. Right. Let's go ahead. Yeah, that one is a lightning dragon. How much health did this thing have? I didn't even see. I may have to go back and look at the footage just to get an idea. Like I said, I've got a plan. This is, I think, a substantial method usually for dealing with kind of health spongy sort of bosses like this. Like bosses that aren't bosses, I guess. Because these dragons, I mean, they're not technically like bosses, but they're basically bosses. Oh, hey. We got a coin dragon. And just a bunch of junk. There was a lot of things in there, but not really anything good. Okay, so now we're just looking for fire dragon, which is the most common. Alright, fire dragons. Your kin have made themselves known. Now you have to... You have to exist here somewhere. And of course we need these so that we can make our dragon forges to be able to actually do endgame. Because, you know, in-game is all... It relies on us having all the Modium alloys. And they require dragon forges to craft those. So, and dragon forges, of course, pretty expensive. So, usually I try not to farm them like the really traditional way. You can. And I've done it in a few series, like where dragons are pretty common, and in some cases, we already have enough scales to make the forge by the time that we want the forge, but generally some way of not having to do this constantly, because this would take a while. I can only imagine how terrible this would be. Did I lose my broom? I may have lost my broom somewhere. Yeah, it would appear I have left my broom behind somewhere. It would be the last place that I used it, because my inventory got full, I guess. Get away from my broom. Okay. I have found you again, broom. Alright, well, I'm thinking, because I'm not seeing any dragons whatsoever whilst mining. Oh, actually, right here, we have one of the dread scuttlers. The dread horde ice and fire mobs are in here. Very hard to believe. They are very, very rare, and you would need you need a bunch of these to make the forge. Like I said, I mean, we're going to be using and abusing our our magic mods, so we only really need one of each of these. Beyond that, the rest of these dragons can keep their world. I don't care. But I mean, luckily we've got the AIoT and the broom, because we can just zoom right through here. And just bust all the blocks. Okay, we have found one. And I don't know if this is going to be a fire or not, but we'll find out. Okay, we do have the charred stone, so this one should be a fire. It's ice for the ice, and then charred for the fire, and crackled for the lightning, so yeah, let's, yeah, it's a red fire dragon. It's a biggin. It's a biggin. Let's try to see if we can see how much health it's got. Alright, here we go. 15,000 it looked like. That's what it looked like to me. So we got ice, lightning, and fire. Awesome. This one was a big one. We got all the Modium chest plate. I actually need that because pigs only produce boots for some reason. Another one. I'll take it. Whatever. Don't actually need them. I mean, we're going to end up making one. Like a set. Probably in the last character development episode. But that's just because we can. Honestly. Like I said, our armor is perfectly sufficient. And we take like super reduced damage as it is, and have all of our like spells on there, and all of our buffing things. And this one had to have been a tier 5 dragon. So this one, we could get an egg off of it. Possibly. But now we've found our prey, now all that's left to do is to kill them. And then we have to farm them, because we need, like I said, we need a bunch of kills to make dragon forges. I did look at the recipe for dragon forges. I mean, they're pretty much default, but even with default recipes, it means you got to kill a lot of dragons. So, 15,000 HP. That is a monstrous health sink. I mean, like I said, that you can make the reliquary dagger, and you could probably be getting about probably end up getting about 1,000 damage per hit off of that. Maybe. I'm just kind of guesstimating. But usually in a pack like this with like apotheosis and stuff, if you really just pump every enchantment that you possibly can into it, you can get some really high damage. Maho Tsukai, like I said, has crazy damage. Like we talked about last episode, it's super over the top. That one's an option too. But like I said, it's not the end-all, be-all solution. There's other solutions. The time has come. The time has come to slay dragons. We're going to go out somewhere flat. We're going to keep it in blue skies. We're going to get a couple things together. First and foremost, I'm going to want my spectral glasses. Second up, we're going to want our vengeance focus. And we're going to want some boxes. Let's go with these that are empty. That's perfect. And let me get another empty one. Really, really quick. And we're going to want kind of a flat-ish space. Just going to make our lives a little bit easier. So this will be perfect. Alright, I've built us the perfect arena to fight a dragon. And we're going to get our weapon of choice. And we're going to take on dragons in the most epic manner. Am I building up a lot of anticipation? Are you guys ready to fight some dragons? We're going to be going with the... Let's start with fire. Yeah, let's start with fire. And our sword that we're going to be using, I've created the ultimate sword. Actually, we created it a long time ago. It is the most powerful sword in all of ATM Spellbound for dealing with huge health pools. Yes, it's stronger than the Aldemodium sword. It's the best sword. We're going to go with Dagger of Sacrifice. Dun dun dun. Alright, and what we're going to do at this point, it's about to get epic. We're going to place down our dragon. And try to get over to the blood altar. There we go. Now we got to find our... Yeah, you're the one I want. The hitbox on these is a little weird. There we go. We got it. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to harvest our dragon. There it is. Hitting right click a lot of times. And there we go. We have slain our very first dragon. And inside of our box, we have the soul of a fire dragon. And you can see that we got a bunch of dragon skulls, scales. We didn't get an egg off of that one, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. It actually did some decent damage. Like I said, we could boost our damage resistance and give ourselves like constant regen 3, constant instant health, constant resistance, all that stuff. But that's really not needed. Because dragons are not all that powerful, realistically. Okay. Not when it comes to the blood altar. So now what we're going to do is spawn our next one. Try to get it over to the blood altar. And of course, if they grab you, just hit shift. I think it actually broke our blood altar. That'll happen on occasion. I'm going to put this away just so I don't accidentally place that one down, because it can happen. Yeah, there's not a vengeance spirit in that. You lie. You lie so much. Honestly, I wonder, in this case, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and switch out armors, because I'm dropping a lot of my doubles, and it would probably make it easier if we didn't drop doubles in this case. So I'm just going to switch to like this super crazy armor for now. And that way we're not making doubles. So it's easier to get the souls. Because it's kind of important that we don't lose our souls, otherwise we're going to have to actually go out and get more dragons. And we don't want to have to do that. Oh, okay. God, that dragon lags us. So we did die. I think this ice dragon has like some superpowers that we can't contend with that well. This one, it might be better to have like resistancy type things. Oh, I'm gonna switch some of these things around. He messed up my stuff. Okay, dragon, I need you to go here. Honestly, probably since we have access to it in this pack, bedrock would probably be a good bet. The only thing we don't want to have happen is the soul to go into the bedrock. Yeah, I'm actually going to break this bedrock. It would make us safer, but like I said, I really don't want to have to go out and find more dragons. There we go. Come here, dragon. It'll take us a couple tries. This dragon's got some skills. Probably because he's so big, too. You know, that doesn't help matters. Let's see if we can just put him right on top of there. Oh, whoops. I need your soul, little dragon. Yeah, placing them on top of the blood altar, definitely a better choice than placing them to the side. I always hate, because you have to do it with an empty hand. Hey, we got an egg. So we do have the ice dragon egg. Okay, I'm going to have to probably dump this stuff at this point. Realistically, at least a bit of this. Yeah, I'm just going to dump it. But we did get our box with an ice dragon in it. So let's put this one away for now. And then last up, we do have the lightning dragon. And I think this does make it a bit easier. Just placing it directly onto... Should probably eat. Placing it directly onto that. And looks like... No, I don't want all this crap. Looks like we did get our dragon. That one went easiest. We got a lightning dragon. Okay. So, let's talk briefly about why this actually works. Oh, we got a copper dragon egg, too. Awesome. Not a whole lot of dragon skills off of that one. At this point, we also don't really need the... Well, we'll keep a soul gem on us for, like, just in case. The only reason we're switching armor isn't because it's stronger. It's just because we've got too many duplicates in the way. And this just makes it a bit easier for us. Let me go ahead and mark this as super awesome dragon arena. This is where we fight our dragons. And at this point, we're going to pop on home here. I can't remember, honestly. This is the heal spell. We can wear this one. I think it's the boots. Yeah, boots are summon decoys. So we can actually wear the rest of this. That way we keep like our night vision and all of our cool enchants. Let's do that. We are just going to change boots actually. Plus we got a lot more health and stuff when we wear our proper clothes. And now what we can do is we can take all of our dragons that we captured, dump them into here, speed this up a bit. Need that. Boom. And boom. Okay. And we got dragon eggs for all of them except for fire. So, quite good. Let's pop back now. And the reason this works, of course, we'll talk about it from a more serious approach, but the reason this works is because Dagger of Sacrifice, if it's next to a blood altar, it insta-kills mobs, providing blood, right? So it sees the Ice and Fire dragons as just regular mobs, basically turning them into blood. So, a whole lot easier than having to go out of your way or do Maho Sakai or any of that, you know. That's not any fun. Let's really just abuse our dragons a little bit here. Alright, so at this point, we basically need to kill ourselves some more dragons. Yeah, this is substantially easier. Oh, I wish it wouldn't do that. There we go. Okay. It's kind of a lid. That's probably the biggest challenge to this, aside from just finding the dragons. That one gave a lot of dragon scales. Still no dragon egg for fire, though. But the biggest challenge is making sure that you don't lose your spawn eggs, because we definitely don't want to have to go out and find more dragons if we don't have to. We're just going to keep cycling these. Basically, take the soul, make an egg, spawn the dragon, get the soul, take the soul, make an egg, spawn the dragon, take the soul, and over and over and over again. We can loop this indefinitely with Ice and Fire. Like I said, you can't turn these into a spawner with Apotheosis. They're disabled from being able to do that. Which, of course, does make sense. Oh, you want to fight, do you? This is also a really good way to deal with boss mobs, for the record. There you go. Very, very easy way to do that. It's very, 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 very powerful and often overlooked at how cheap you can insta-kill things. But, you know, it's not something that you're going to use generally in combat, like running in and doing things. But you could. You could place it down. Especially if things don't destroy blocks. You know, it becomes substantially easier at that point. But let's do another kill. And we might get some lower tiers, you know, with this, because it just spawns a random tiered dragon from the spawn egg. But that's okay. It doesn't really matter. We're just kind of farming scales at this point. Okay. Looks like somebody just... some epic boss just broke himself on us. So, I'm not even wearing, like, my full stuff. Of course, it's all astral sorcery that's doing our reflex, so... it actually really doesn't matter what we wear. Alright, so now we have our lightning dragon. There we go. I think I had him. Yeah, we got him. Okay. We got another copper dragon egg. Lightning dragon. Perfect. I want to make sure we don't lose these. Hooray! Okay. Let's pop home. And basically we just get to rinse and repeat this method. Forever. That way we don't have to search for dragons any more than we have to. And we don't actually have to exert ourselves to kill them. I mean, granted, it's a bit less climactic as if we had actually fought it, right? Like, it's not as exciting as flying around the skies, doing epic battle with dragons. But at the same time, that's not really how dragon battles go in this pack. Dragon battles are, I guess, meant to go is just as anticlimactic because you just... I think the preferred method is to heavily farm Maho Sakai to make the super sword and upgrade it and all that, which is basically just this really redundant kind of farming process. Not terribly exciting. And then you go in and wreck the dragon's face with a sword, wearing, you know, unobtainium armor or whatever super armor that you have. Now we can survive the dragon's attacks just fine with epic Oreos, and like I said, we can make it even easier with like a constant regen effect, or constant instant health, constant resistance, constant absorption, that kind of stuff, which we will be doing a little bit with constant effects just for fun in the character development episode. So if you're curious about that, we will be covering it. But that's the, I guess, preferred method. The other two methods, which probably aren't as popular, is making the reliquary dagger, upgrading it, going in, having to hit the dragon, you know, 20, 30 times. Still not that bad. And then there's the other method where you just go in with like normal people gear and actually have an epic battle with a dragon, which will take you forever because it has like 15,000 health. So blood magic is my preferred method because we're actually kind of getting to utilize the mods that we've been learning up to this point, right? Or using up to this point, I should say. Utilizing the magic mods, because we're having to use Evilcraft, we're having to use blood magic to make this, and we're having to use occultism for the soul gems. So we're using like 3 different mods, bringing them together, and doing our epic dragon battle. Now at this point we do have an ice dragon egg, we have 2 lightning dragon eggs. Now as far as making the forge, we're going to need a bunch of these dragon forge fire bricks. Okay, and the way we're going to get these is just by compressing dragon scales. Now right now we do have 13. It's not enough. 13 fire, 6 lightning, and 5 ice. And we will have to get some dragon blood. Well, no, because we're not making dragon steel, right? We won't actually have to bottle the blood in this case, no. Okay, well, we can make ourselves some of these. That's going to get us a start. And I think technically we can make the aperture for the fire forge now. And we can make the core for the fire. No, we can't. We need 8 bricks for that. Plus, we're going to need these bricks to actually build the little multi-block. So, it's very, very expensive. Very, very expensive. But at this point, it's just a process of farming our dragons and making sure that we don't lose those souls. As you can see, it's fairly quick. You know, basically you just drop the box. You mentally prepare yourself. You make sure that you know which button your Dagger of Sacrifice and your Vengeance Focus are on. Then you just do that. Pull it into the box like a Ghostbuster. And there we go. There's another dragon dead. Unfortunately, this one was a really, really minuscule dragon. Didn't even give us a single block. You definitely... There we go. You're just sitting there waiting. You're like, okay, I know what's going to happen. I'm just going to stand here and wait for you to suck me into the box. Now, doing it this method, it can take a little bit to get a dragon egg, because I think in that dimension it's pretty much all tier 4 and 5s. So you have a chance every kill to get a dragon egg. But doing it this method, it's random tiers, so we may get tier 1s, you know? Let's see, we've gotten... Yeah, there's a stage 2 dragon skull, another stage 2. So we've killed a few stage 2s doing it like this. However, it's a whole lot less just burning through chunks. Because it would take us a lot of... Okay. You got 1,000 health. You do like no damage at all. And for some reason it will not allow me to sacrifice this one. This is our epic dragon battle right here. 1,000 health baby dragon. Yeah, so the tier 1s are not what you want to have spawn. Don't even think about it. That one was so small. It didn't even give us, like, scales or anything. Okay, but we did get a few more ice dragon scales. And then, like, at this point, we can do the ice bricks. Like I said, color doesn't really matter when it comes to this stuff. Like, we can do that. And then we can make our ice dragon aperture. Because we've got to get all the apertures, and then we have to get all the cores, and then we basically just have to get enough ice bricks to build the multi-block at this point. Which, once we get the cores made, it's really not too bad. It just takes, it takes a little bit. So, and we can actually, at this point, make our very first fire core. So there's that. The only fire core that we're going to need. We only need one core. And we've got our aperture. So at this point, we just have to get, I think it's 17 of the bricks that we're going to need. Unfortunately, ice, I had a baby, so I didn't really get much out of that. Lightning, there's 4. So at this point, we can finally get our aperture. Lightning, for some reason, I'm not having as much luck with. But that means that fire, we are like almost halfway through the fire ones. If we could get like a couple more big dragons, we could actually get our fire dragon forge set up. But at this point, it's really just a process of going back and forth, kind of farming these. My fire one did get away and charred some grass and turned my blood altar to stone, so I had to use another blood altar, but didn't really seem to do a whole lot of damage to us. So let me get this out of the way. Sometimes that helps a bit. Starting to kind of get my method down, you know, for doing this and keeping our souls and all that fun stuff. Because usually the soul's not as much of a concern, but yeah, throwing it right on top of the blood altar does help a bit more, just to keep it within range. The only dangerous thing is if you get a stage 1, then you're going to waste a little bit of time dealing with that that little bitty minuscule dragon, because they're the hardest dragon in the pack. The stage 1 is. So, and if you're curious about where the idea for this comes from, when I was working on Tails, trying to get some of the balancing in place and making sure that you can't exploit things, this was a very big concern for me, that I had to really kind of work around to make it so you couldn't do something like this within Tails. So you couldn't just kind of exploit certain... Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. There's a good lightning one. Where you at, little dragon? There we go. But I wanted to make sure that you couldn't kind of exploit sort of, not really cross mod. I mean, blood magic is extremely powerful, and I think the Dagger of Sacrifice is severely undervalued for stuff like this. But it can definitely come in handy, to say the least. As you can tell, it's very, very powerful. Just the ability to be able to insta-kill, you know, pretty much anything is a very, very... Oh, no, not the 3,400 health one. This is like the worst possible, because for some reason the Dagger of Sacrifice will not get these low tier ones. But Dagger of Sacrifice, hands down the strongest weapon, generally in most packs, unless you have like the creative sword. Or something, you know, to that effect that just automatically insta-kills anything. But generally, Dagger of Sacrifice gonna be your strongest weapon available for like really high health things. So usually I wouldn't suggest using it because it's really exploited to do it like this. But and normally I wouldn't, but in this situation I will totally use it. Okay, we have finished grinding, and if you want to see, look how many dragon skulls we got. As you can see, it takes a bit, for sure. But at this point we have 20, technically we only need 17 of each of these, but we have 20 of all the different bricks. We have the cores and apertures. Now all we have to do is make ourselves some bone blocks. Let's see, I want to say it's 8 per dragon forge. So there's our 24 bone blocks, and that's it. That is the Dragon Forge. Oh, because I never picked them up. I just had them in here. I was like, well, wait a second. I should have already done those achievements. But you can see it took a lot of dragon kills, like a whole lot of dragon kills, and it filled up my thing because most of these don't stack unless they come out. I think it's unless they come out to be like exactly the same size, roughly. So you can see a few of them here came out to be the same size. Stage 1, I think. Certain stage 1s don't really drop skulls, I guess because they're too small or something. But I think I had like 5 in total, maybe spawn, something like that. So, I mean, it wasn't too bad, but when they come up, you're just like, ugh, because now I gotta whittle through all this health, you know? But that's the worst part of it. It took me, I don't know, my sense of time, I never look at the time beforehand, and then I'm like, well, I think it only took like 2 hours to basically, well, yeah, actually, it took about 2.5 hours, start to finish, going out and finding the dragons, bringing them back, and getting all of our dragon forge. So that's really not that bad, right? Like, if we had actually had to fight them, or we had actually had to look for them, it would have been substantially longer. But I think that's a pretty reasonable amount of time. And I may end up farming a bit more, just so that we have the scales to make our armor, just for decoration. You know, it wouldn't take that long just making the armor. But if I do that, it'll probably be after we make the ATM sword, just so that we can whack them like once or twice when they come out as a stage 1. The Dagger of Sacrifice is still stronger than the ATM sword, for sure. But when it's like a stage 1 dragon, you know, there's no fear of dying from a stage 1 dragon because they do like no damage. But they do have enough health that they're annoying a little bit. But yeah, so anyways, we're going to end out this episode here. Next episode, when we come back, we're going to be using our dragons. We're going to be basically setting up dragon forges, growing up some dragons, and starting to make our alloys. But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I know it probably wasn't what you were expecting, but like I said, I wouldn't normally use it. You know, we don't normally exploit the Dagger of Sacrifice in packs, but the health pools are they're just silly in this. Really kind of limiting our options, and I figured, well, we're going to go with something a little bit different that we don't normally do and go a little bit exploity with it. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Stay up to date with when new videos come out, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.